Saudi Arabia has once again hit the headlines, and all for the wrong reasons. Saudi prosecutors are seeking the death sentence for 5 human rights activists. One of them is Israa al-Ghomgham, a female Shia activist who is reportedly the first female campaigner in the kingdom to be executed. The activists face charges including participating in protests, chanting slogans hostile to the regime, attempting to inflame public opinion, and filming protests and publishing on social media.
All of these are legitimate actions that are legalized by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and they are legitimate actions under the Universal Declaration of Civil and Political Rights.
Human Rights Watch has harshly criticized Saudi Arabia over the issue. Any execution is appalling, but seeking the death penalty for activists like Israa al-Ghomgham, who are not even accused of violent behavior, is monstrous. Amnesty also said punishing rights activists with the death penalty sets a dangerous precedent for other activists who are behind bars in Saudi Arabia. Israa al-Ghomgham is set to appear in court on the 28th of October. The trials have cast serious doubts on efforts by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to portray himself as a reformer.
And all of the efforts of Mohammed bin Salman are only showing that it is a regime that cannot grant any freedom, because there is no freedom to be had in Saudi Arabia.
Since becoming the Crown Prince, bin Salman has tried to introduce some reforms. He has vowed to control religious extremism, diversify the economy, and introduce liberal social policies. But on the political level, bin Salman has made it clear that his vision for Saudi Arabia is an absolute monarchy with ultimate power in his own hands.
The Saudi regime under Mohammed bin Salman, the heir to the throne of Saudi Arabia, the 32-year-old crown prince who, with his Vision 2030, seeks to liberalize the regime, is proving that it cannot liberalize regime because it is an authoritarian regime, a dictatorial regime.
If the Crown Prince is truly serious about reform, he should immediately step in to ensure no activist is unjustly detained for his or her human rights work. Saudi Arabia has had a bleak list of rights violations inside and outside the country. It has cracked down on the Shia minority inside the kingdom. It has killed thousands of civilians in Yemen. It has supported terrorist groups in Syria and Iraq, which are responsible for the deaths of countless civilians. And it has one of the world's highest rates of execution.
The Saudi regime is one of the most repressive regimes in the world, if not the most repressive. It is an unelected, dictatorial, monarchical regime.
And yet, despite all its wrongdoings, Saudi Arabia is considered as an ally of the West. The US, the UK, and other Western countries have consistently backed Saudi Arabia and turned a blind eye to its gross rights violations. The oil-rich kingdom is one of the main purchasers of Western-made weapons and has lucrative oil and gas deals with Western giants. And that explains why the West is reluctant to confront Saudi Arabia. But in order to put an end to the kingdom's dangerous behavior, the West needs to come up with a certain mechanism in order to hold it accountable for its rights violations.